Hello. Farming. That's pretty much what Diablo 3 is all about. Now, before patch 2.6.6, if you wanted to bump up your death breaths, you had to run with this build, Atalia's and Sage's, with Mantle of Channeling and Hellfire Amulet, Wraps of Clarity, and the Ring of Royal Grandeur, and a Calamity, and in the cube for that you would have Dawn, Visage of Goons, and Overwhelming Desire. That's just for a little sneaky trick. Doesn't matter what ring you have in there. You can put convention of elements in there if you want. Overwhelming Desire is kind of fun for the boss at the end, but yeah, that's just awful. I couldn't really use that, so instead you tend to go for this build here, which basically would involve killing absolutely everything as quickly as you possibly could, and then just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. So you get like 2 or 3 death breaths for every elite pack, which is really frustrating because it takes an awful long time to get them, and when you're crafting things you can burn through them at quite an alarming rate. But now with 2.6.6 you can do this. Dink. Pretty much the same build for your normal speed farm, except there's a belt, Sage's ribbon, so you can use one of your Sage's pieces can be a belt, and that means you just need one other. So in this case I've got the boots because these just have to be primal, but you can obviously use the pieces. Is essentially now it's 4 piece now because you've got the boots, the gloves and the helm, and you just choose one of those that you've got that's good, and with the belt and Ring of Royal Grandeur you've got your set, so you get double death breath drops, which is rather funky, and you also get the full benefits of what is arguably the fastest speed farm for the Demon Hunter, which is an Anhadescence, of course, with multi-shot. So let's see what happens. At the moment I have got 3,722 death breaths, so I'll just run a very quick rift and we'll see how many I get at the end of that. I'll just write that down because I will invariably forget. So 3,722 is what I've got at the moment. So let's see how quickly we can do a standard rift. I'll just pile through it like this. With the Nemesis braces, that also gives you the extra elite packs as well, which is kind of useful. So we'll just steam through this. This one behind the door. Yes, there he is. So we'll try and grab everything we can. Just whiz through. I won't bother stopping to pick up anything. We'll come to what we want to get a bit later, and what's worth picking up and what isn't. As a general rule, you don't want to be bothering with any of the yellows, except maybe at the very start of the game. So when you're first developing your character, that's when you can be bothered picking up yellows. But when you start getting towards end game, or whether you get, when your Paragon points are building up, and you're just steaming it into your primary stat, you don't need any of the yellows anymore, because they're just a waste of space in your inventory, really. So we're just steaming through here. We're almost there now, just over halfway. That's another 3 things there, and we'll just working my way through here. I might be able to do it with just the one level. I think there's going to be another level approaching. We'll have that one on there. Yes, here we are. So we drop down another level, so we're almost done. This isn't the PTR, so the drop rate is standard for. Oh, nearly had me then, but didn't. It's standard for the level we're at, which is Torment 16. So whatever value of Torment you're at, this you're going to scream through this. Now where is he? He's here somewhere. Warlock. So he's toast. So we'll pick up that, kill that on there, so that we can teleport out. Now you can keep on playing if you want, but I just want to see how many we get. I haven't had any goblins, so normally if I don't get goblins, I'll keep playing until I reach the end portal. So I'll just close the rift, and we'll see how many Despress we've got. So we're on 33808. So that is how many is that? I can't work it out. About 80, isn't it? Yeah, maybe 90. So you get almost 100 each go. If you carry on going, then obviously that's going to be quite a lot. You can get 120 maybe each time you do a rift. Because of the speed of a demon hunter, you can build up quite a lot of Despress that way. It was a nightmare with the previous build for farming, because it was actually faster just to do it using the standard Halo Essence and just jump around and pick them up. And because you were picking them up fast, because it's a fast moving build, that's how you got. Now we're doubling it. So yes, thank you Blizzard. Now for other farming things over there, while we're here by the way, if you look, you've got reasonable parts, arcane dust, veil crystal, Despress, and forgotten souls. Forgotten souls are best farmed through great rifts, because that's where the legendary items drop. You're guaranteed about 10, at least 10 per rift, and if you get an ancient, there's a 3, and if you get a primal, then there's 15. If it's not one you're going to use, because some of the primals frankly are junk, aren't they? The Despress we've just covered. Veil crystal, they get eaten up quite a lot when you're crafting, and you only get 1 for each of these. That's why you don't pick up the yellows. What you actually pick up is the whites, because the whites are worth a lot more. And then what you can do is, once you've built up the whites, if you go to like the Pandemonium Battlegrounds, that's got a lot of armor racks just lying around, and you could normally fill up your inventory with whites and get about 150 whites, 150 reusable parts every go. And then what you do is you go to Cube and switch along to the convert reusable parts, which is 7, and then you pop what you want in. So I'm going to want veil crystals, so I'm going to fill that up with Despress and that, and then when I do transmute, look, I've got 100 veil crystals. So if you fill up with whites and only pick up whites and blues, because blues are worth more than 1 as well, then you can actually pad out your inventory with by converting. It's much more efficient. Obviously when you get to the end and kill the Rift Guardian or something, just pick up everything, doesn't matter then. But if you're farming, just go for the whites and the blues and fill up on those, and then convert to veil crystals so they all even out. Another thing you can do later on, because you get an awful lot of gems, don't you? At least I've noticed that you do. And there's a whole load here, and that doesn't include this little stack here. So you get a whole load of gems, and what you can do is you can go to the jeweler and you can forge amulets, and you see the amulets use up gems. So if I forge 10 of those like that, and if you want to use up things evenly, you can forge a ring because that uses the other ones. So there's 10 of those, and that gives you the rares, which you can then upgrade if you want, because it's quite a cheap way of doing it, or you can just salvage them, and you get one veil crystal. So you can convert gems into veil crystals, which is kind of handy towards the end where you've got a whole load of gems and no no veil crystals because you've been crafting. So that's kind of fun, kind of useful little trick. Other than that, you pick up stuff while you're doing your bounties, and while you're running the bounties, just run around picking up the whites and the blues, and obviously any legendaries that might drop. For each act, you can normally fill up your inventory. So by the time you finish the act, when you teleport back to town, you've got a nice inventory full of bits that you can then salvage straight away. You've got to watch yourself, because if your inventory gets too full and someone else finishes an act, and your heraldic cache can drop somewhere weird and you lose it. But there's one last thing I'm going to do. I've still got the rift on there. I'm going to see what happens when I do an ancient puzzle ring. I'll just dump these somewhere, put those in there out the way, and then I'll do an ancient vault, and we'll see how many we get from that, just for a bit of fun. So I've got 3807, because I used one, remember, to convert, because it costs you one death breath. So let's have a look and see how many we get after this. Another thing you can do, because you get a lot of gold in this, actually I'll go and do that. You can swap out the Nemesis bracers. I've got to find where they are now. There we are. For the Custerian Wristguards, picking up gold grants experience. And of course, while we're at it, if we look at the cube items, I've got Krelm's buff belt in the cube, but you can put Goldwrap in there if you want. And with the rings, Ring of Royal Grandeur you need, but you could cube that. Stone of Jordan is good because you get the 10 discipline boost, but so you can't cube that. So if you have that Stone of Jordan, you can cube Ring of Royal Grandeur or Convention of Elements, depending on which one is your best ring. I run with the Hellfire Amulet just because it's a primal one, but what you can do, of course, with the new buff is to go with Squirt's Necklace, because that instantly gives you 100% damage increase, which is important for a demon hunter that uses ranged attacks, which multi-shot is. Obviously, if you're doing Impale, that's of no use whatsoever, because with Impale you're right in the thick of it and you're kind of constantly taking damage. So it doesn't work with Impale builds, but for multi-shot and Halidescence, it's yeah, as instant 100% damage increase. So that's worth having. The level this character is, everything gets vaporized anyway, so I could run around with a stick of celery and it'd be fine. So yes, so there is some flexibility. You can swap out one of these. That's got Zai's Stone of Vengeance and Bed of the Traps, of course. I've chucked in Wreath of Lightning because that gives a little speed boost. And with multi-shot, that's virtually permanent, because there's a 15% chance on hit, but everything gets hit a lot with multi-shot, so that's pretty much on all the time. That you can swap out for Boon of the Hoarder, because that again gives you a movement speed boost. I've only got in there because you get a bit of lightning as well. So you get 25% movement speed from that, and from that you get 30% after you've picked up gold. That tends to work in combination with Avarice Band, which picks up everything. So that combination is, yeah, so you've got a bit of flexibility. This is just what I use. It doesn't mean that you have to use the same thing. So let's see what we get from an ancient vault. And we'll run in and have a look. kill absolutely everything, obviously, virtually instantly, because we do. I'm going to run through the vault and kill everything, and then I'll come back and pick everything up. I'm not going to bother any of the whites, remember, because you don't, all the, I mean the yellows, I'm not going to bother any of the yellows, because they're pointless. We've got any goblins down here? I don't think there's any goblins down there. And that was 200 and nearly 300 million in gold just from running about. So that's yeah. So if I'd had the avarice band and the thingy, we'd have a lot more. I'm picking up the useful stuff. Obviously now the arcane dust and veil crystals and reusable parts don't actually form part of your inventory, because they used to, and that was really annoying. But they fixed that quite quickly, didn't they? So let's just whiz through here a bit. We've got a lot of those, so there's a few of those. So let's have a look and see how many we got from that. It's now on 3951. So what's that? 70, 80, 3951. No, it's more than that, isn't it? 3951, 3807 it was at. So that's a lot more, isn't it? It's 150, 140, something like that. So yes, this belt. Oh, thank you, Blizzard. That changes everything. So when you're farming Death's Breaths, you can now farm Death's Breaths and everything else at the same time, because they've introduced this belt. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you want to see more discussions about Diablo, then let me know. I don't normally do gaming ones, but this was such an important thing to mention, I thought, because it's going to make life so much easier when season 18 starts. So yeah, if it's helpful, like and subscribe. If you've got a comment, stick it in the comments, and thanks for watching.